Hello. Let me assure you, Subarunoski did not die in this episode. We're back for Rick and Morty. It's been a long time, year and a half at least. And so we pick up. Now, I think I told you last year, I think the writing kind of went off somewhere, off the cliff at some point. So now it seems like we're recycling old ideas, at least in the premiere. We're going to talk about both episode 1 and 2, by the way, tonight. And they kind of reused an old idea in episode 1, which involved a matrix. And of course, the matrix program, and also the fact that, the trauma that it often brings about, especially when it comes to looping. I mean, it's never been played before, right? Edge of Tomorrow, Groundhog Day, Steins Gate. Pielo Magi Magica Magica. ReZero. Yeah. And it was interesting watching Morty go through Edge of Tomorrow, dying, but ironically his safe spot is literally just where his body reanimates. That's it. Fully healed. Now, you probably say that where this episode was a ripoff. Well, we did the Matrix thing before. It was a lot more funnier in season 1. M. Night Shyamalan aliens. And the funny part, even you used an old joke about the 8-bit Matrix. If you remember in that episode, we had Jerry going into the Matrix. Remember Hungry for Apples? I love that segment of that episode. Just watching how self-congratulatory Jerry wants his life to be. Getting a medal for a successful ad campaign. And of course, it ends up him being unemployed. In this episode was simply Rick trying to get his charger back. And of course, he just passed out drunk while doing it. It is interesting, too, that for such a scientifically advanced person, he still uses a lightning charger on his iPhone, considering that most iPhones now use USB-C.
A visit to apple.com should be able to help you with that.
Siri, right? I better stop saying that because I am using an Apple computer. Now, it is funny that Morty puts Rick into a matrix, and the Matrix program's main moral is don't put people in matrices, which is weird because he ends up starting the place where humans live their entire lives in the original Matrix, where essentially humans become batteries. That's how he gets out. In the first Matrix, obviously, it's Summer Smith basically figures a way how to make chargers basically obsolete. By the way, it's never going to happen. Do you really think Apple, Samsung, or any of these other companies are ever going to let that happen? You're out of your mind. As we continue this episode. Actually, I'm going to try ending this pretty shortly because the episode 3 is about to begin. At the moment, I don't have Cartoon Network for some reason. Comcast, that's all I can say. So I end up basically watching it streaming, which will be coming out tomorrow. Where was I? Oh, yeah, the episode. As you know, Morty's dealing with a lot of trauma, and I have to say that Beth's daughter, Summer, is a fucking bitch. Oh, sorry. Should have said F word. Sorry. Yeah, she's a bitch. What she did to her brother is relatively awful. And for all intents and purposes, she probably belongs on the Sonichi family children. I recently caught up in that show, just to let you know. I know I saw the maker of Rent a Girlfriend made another comic and eventually became an anime. I had vague information. I mean, I'm still kind of enjoying the slow moving train wreck that is Rent a Girlfriend. That I thought, like, this might be overkill. Apparently, somehow he figured another way to basically recycle another slow moving train wreck. It is kind of funny watching Summer go through midlife with a midlife crisis. And that's the funny part that people often forget. Even though you're in a younger body, you are mentally older. In this case, Summer is about 34 years old mentally. And that the people in her own age group, for all intents and purposes, are well underage for her. You know, I do love the fact that in high school, like, hits her, she's immediately fed up with it. She ends up going to Santa Fe, and they put her in a pottery class for some reason. Don't know why. And of course, you know, Morty decides to attack the main nuclear plant for the United States, just so he can take out all the cell phones. And once again, it's just the funny part about it is that, like, they should have ended this episode 3 minutes earlier. It would have been absolutely great. It's at the point where they notice, like, you shouldn't be taking your grandfather's inventions. It should be noted, how would anybody at that power plant know who their grandfather is? It's not like Morty and Summer are celebrities. They're not. So it would actually have been a perfect way to end, like, them thinking, like, oh, no, we're in another Matrix. Really? A Matrix inside a Matrix? And then beating them up. I thought that's where the episode should have ended. But nope, we end up going further. And just like most Rick and Morty episodes these days, let's run the joke into the ground. Now, it is interesting. They also had another callback for more vampires. Remember Coach Naratu? Well, we found out that the pottery class building in Santa Fe is run by vampires. Instead of trying to suck people to the point that they're young, they take middle age. I guess, okay, I understand. Don't get too greedy, right? And of course, you know, yeah, they die in the sun. And that's enough of Earth Beth. Let's go to Space Beth now in episode 2. Yeah, apparently the Galactic Federation, after how many times Rick has destroyed this thing, is still in business. And Space Beth is still trying to, well, destroy it. She's with the Defiance. I guess the Poe Dameron does not want to license out the name The Resistance, right? The Defiance. Really? These stupid, these stupid freaking rebellion names. These are a little more like interest, like the Republican Army or the people's military. There. I put more thought into what you guys did. Also interesting that factors air in space now. Because apparently, Space Beth is now gliding through space with a glider suit. Did anyone bother to check that one up? That people wouldn't point out that you're in space, there's no air? Of course, this time when the Federation falls, it isn't as funny as the first time when all Rick simply did is he turned the value of the currency from 1 of itself to 0 of itself. This time we didn't get the same idea. This time Beth's only simply trying to kill off the queen. And if you know anything about insects, a queen's usually the main parent. All drones and males come from the same parent. Everybody's basically a cousin. I have to say so. Cisco was virtually useless in this episode, wasn't he? I mean, my YLAN modem isn't that great. So Cisco can't really be a great company, right? I guess it was a joke left over from the previous episode where all the secondary NPCs had like cell phone company names, like Motorola, Nokia, Samsung. So I guess we had to reuse the joke somehow, right? And apparently, let's see, I mean, they went through virtually every type of stereotype. You had the white supremacist stereotype used, who apparently controls the entire rebellion's, the entire Federation's medical information, particularly who the stereotypical disgraced eugenics scientist is. To be fair, they were making fun of this, though. And I have to say this. I do agree with the disgraced eugenics scientist. Living rent-free in your head should die with him. I'm sorry, I've heard that phrase way too many times. I think it was used once in a TV show, and then like the episode explained, dumb people start saying that just to sound smart. Well, we found out that fungus, for some reason, is able to create super soldiers. Now, to be fair, there is a fungus that can actually take over invertebrates' brains and virtually turn them into zombies. So that actually is real. Just to give you some nightmares. And, of course, we end up going to, if Beth gets infected, they end up going to another government lab after killing off the robotic queen. And apparently Stephen Root is now there. That's right. Gideon's father is there, Bud, from Gravity Falls. And now he's voicing the main general for the Federation. To be fair, he was pretty funny in this episode, as Stephen Root usually is. Of course, they decide to reference Slimer. The fact that you have a ghost here being the sidekick of people who destroy ghosts. Yeah, it seems stupid, doesn't it? The real Ghostbusters. Anyway, look at the other Ghostbusters. We had an 8 for some reason there. Yeah, look that up on Wikipedia. Have fun. Let's see here. I mean, they also, for some reason, say it's daddy-daughter work day and brought Bird Person. It's almost like there's no cause and effect here. You just simply throw whatever joke they want in with no rhyme or reason. This episode. I just don't know what's going on. As we continue, and pretty much right to the end, they basically reenact Aliens. And even have a payload, which funny part is they actually said, oh no, don't put a payload in. They do also steal a joke from One Punch Man, the episode 1, where the evil scientist brother and his extremely giant monster brother, where the giant monster ends up killing the evil scientist do the scientist own the order, which was even funny. He's like, yeah, kill the guy on your shoulder. No! Yeah, it was done a lot funnier in One Punch Man, if you haven't figured it out by now. Definitely one of the funniest anime deaths of all time. By the way, One Punch Man's coming back this fall. Just something to look forward to, right? Okay, I'm just going to go into the end. Apparently, the Federation and Defiance make peace after this whole incident where they cured the super serum fungus that turns bugs into monsters. And basically, that's how the episode ends with, and Cisco is high now because of his new girlfriend. Yeah, the writing seems to be going back to the well quite a bit in these episodes. I have to admit. It's kind of like give or take with some of the humor here. Now, I can be very harsh with a lot of the Rick and Morty reviews. Yeah, the writing seems to be just repeating itself here at times. One of the few things I was getting very nervous about when Roiland was kicked off the project. You have to know, I do know that you do have self-destructive forces inside the writing room at Rick and Morty. I'm not going to say who. But let's face it, episode 3 is going to be coming up soon, so I'm going to leave. Hopefully that episode will be better. I am not going to be doing a lot of live streams this season, I swear. So I'll probably be back for regular review this week. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.